I've lived there for 34
Oh,
years
yeah, that's
now.
in your neighborhood, yeah.
Right. I wasn't here this Saturday, unfortunately, but I mean, probably fortunately, but I saw pictures. And what it is you got all 4 of those streets that run into that intersection are all downhill. And when it rains, it doesn't even have to rain 2 inches an hour. It could be a half an inch or an inch an hour. The house across the street from me has a river that comes off for West Street, through her yard, onto Reed Avenue, or Chester Drive, and flows that way. I have a river that flows through my backyard when it rains hard. I mean, right now, I went to car to cut my grass today. I got I don't know, probably a 10 by 20 area. It's a pond. Well, not a pond, whatever you want to call it, puddle, that I can't cut. And I won't be able to probably cut it until Saturday, but it's going to rain again tomorrow because everything's clay there.
How often have you seen Sadler, the big
Probably kind of one hand, and I lived there since '84.
Okay.
But
only in
it's
the
only
worst events.
Yeah, but it's clay, so the water doesn't get absorbed to the ground; it just runs right across it. I mean, not that I'm a we call it hydrologist or whatever you want to call it, but
I think that's
I know
what we need is a hydrologist.
clay doesn't absorb water; it just runs right across it. And plus the 4 streets all downhill into that one intersection.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to underestimate the fact that this was a
Mother Nature
mammoth storm that came in a very short period of time, following a series of storms. You know, how often is the ground as saturated as in August? You know, my grass is still green, for goodness sakes. I'm usually happy my grass is burned out by 4th of July, but it's still green. So, you know, it's one of those years. And when you have big storms on top of that, this type of thing happens. I'm not saying if there's ways we can improve it that are making economic sense, that we should. But, you know, we have to allow for the fact that some of it is just, it was a really bad storm on top of several other storms. So, thank you. Any other public input? Yes, we'll go back to Mr. Russo.
I'd like to comment on the proposed developer at the Crawl property. Town of Windsor Locks, the value of our property is doing nothing but going up, up, up. Why on earth would we be offering any developer a tax incentive to come develop our property? The Bradley International Airport is taking on more and more business every day. As our town emblem says, we're trains, boats, planes. We are a center of transportation hub. Why would we offer any tax incentive to any developer who wants to come in and develop property at the town of Windsor Locks? 2, I believe I have you over and over and over on video. If you go to WR 2001B, you may find it saying that the cost to transform the railroad station as it sits will be at no cost to the taxpayer. And I have noted time and time again the difference between the minutes that are kept, and Jeremy Sue is pretty good. However, there are times when things don't get recorded into the minutes, and you have said over and over and over, and I've criticized you for your kick the can down the road philosophy. There were to be no taxpayers' money invested in that railroad station. And I have another comment. I understand you're trying to bring people to downtown Windsor Locks, but it makes so much more sense for the people to come and disembark and embark right where we're at and have them get on your autonomous shuttle, go down Route 20 right into the airport. And for the record, I want to note that you have refused to read my correspondence into the public record. I'm also somewhat disappointed that Selectman Rochelle made no objection when you unilaterally decided that you weren't going to read my correspondence into the record. I believe, I don't know how the rules go, whether you speak for the entire board or whether or not Selectman Rochelle has a voice in this, but I object strenuously. Also, part of the communication that I wrote to you pertained to FOI. Myself and the town of Windsor Locks, meaning you, Chris KERVICK, and I are going to have it out with what FOI stands for. The chief of police just sent me a letter saying I can no longer email him when I have complained to you over and over and over that he won't receive my emails. I was just recently taken over the coals by Attorney Carl Andolina as to why I didn't receive and read a piece of mail from the chief. Seems something's a tad skewed. And as far as water flow, you got the timer going?
I do, but I just
Okay.
turned it off because it sounds like you have a really important point coming up.
Well, I want to talk about the Montgomery complex and water flow. Did you happen to notice that the freshly disturbed soil that's over there that's still contaminated, all that water flowed out that nice wall and out those pipes into the Connecticut River? I have much more to say, but seeing as how we're limited to 3 minutes, I guess I'll conclude, and I'll continue to ask for your resignation on Facebook.
Can you define, have it out?
Have it out means we're legally going to decide whether or not the chief of police or you or anybody else can stop me from emailing FOI requests to any board, any commission. And I hold you responsible because you do nothing. You do nothing.
I'll admit, and on your record, because you're keeping one, and on this record, I don't read your correspondence. As soon as I see it's from you, it's deleted or it's just ignored. Whether it
And why would that be? Why would that be?
because it
Am I not a taxpayer?
I generally define it to be threatening,
You better back that up.
unintelligible.
You better back that up.
Unintelligible, and a waste of the taxpayers' dollars.
Well, I think you're a waste of the taxpayers' money, all right?
It's okay. That's okay. So, just, I will, I'll make your promise, if you send something in writing to me, I'll take a look at it. But at this point, based on the content.
You, sir, do nothing but try and hide the
The
truth.
threatening nature of the letters, I don't.
I'll put it up on Facebook. The
don't
public
need
can
to-
decide
I
whether
don't
my
need to.
emails are threatening. And I'll put everything I've ever sent you up on Facebook.
Please do.
And they can decide
Do what
whether
you
or
gotta
not anything is
Do what you
threatening.
gotta do. But
Okay,
until
thank you.
Until you change the tone of those letters, I'm not gonna subject myself to that abuse.
Okay.
Okay, any further public input? Yes, Ms. Van Giesen.
Well, the picture right behind you shows there's a little bit of a stream there. I've only been going to the church since about 1995, but that trash catcher, I don't know when it was put in. My husband surmises around 89, but it needs to be cleaned out. And I think what would be helpful is to periodically clean it out instead of arguing about who should do it. I think they finally got the state to come in. I'm not sure, there was a backhoe and so forth.
Well, last week or the week before?
Yeah, so
Well,
when this really big storm came, the last one, it filled up because more stuff was coming, but it wasn't anywhere near as high as the previous storm. So I think.
Saturday?
Yeah,
That's good to hear,
yeah. So I think what we have to do is maybe get with previous public works guys and help the current public works guy understand how they were able to clean it out, because that silt issue on Center Street has been going on for years.
It was never our responsibility to clean it out. Before Walgreens, it was Dexter's responsibility.
No, I'm talking about Center Street, the silt.
Oh, Center Street, I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah, and there's a lot of junk that floats down. So, I don't understand the ins and outs either, but somehow inland wetlands, Town of Windsor Locks, is involved with the water courses. So there must be some responsibility, and it's typically on the landowner. But I know that, attending the church, I know that they've tried to get Walgreens to
Right.
cooperate.
Finally, we were successful 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Imagine if we hadn't been in this
Right.
storm. So,
right.
why they've been so attentive. I know Attorney Smith has been pulling his hair out trying to get Walgreens to even respond to his
And I was at Noden Reed, the storm was Saturday, right? I was at Noden Reed on Saturday working with the chickens. Behind, as you go down the road, left and right side, it was a lake.
Mm.
So right up to those two pipes, it was full, and then on the other side of the road. So it's flowing, but I think we need to look at maybe if new pipes have been put in and they're smaller, that may be something that the town needs to look at.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any further public input? Seeing none, any comments of the selectmen?
Just one, I just wanna make it clear to Mr. Russo that neither Mr. KERVICK nor anyone else speaks on behalf of me. So you're aware of that.
I have no comments.